Welcome to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast, your weekly news roundup of hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories from around the Gem State. Hosted by Fish and Game's Public Information Specialist, Connor J. Lease.
And welcome back, everyone, to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. A lot going on this week for hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories here in Idaho. This week on the Hook and Bulletin, we'll be talking about a couple of application deadlines fast approaching, the 2025 through 2030 Fisheries Management Plan, and monitoring elk herds in Unit 63. But first, as hunting season draws near, now is the perfect time to dial in your bow or firearm. In a 1957 issue of American Rifleman magazine, famed writer and marksman Colonel Townsend Whalen quipped that, quote, "Only accurate rifles are interesting." Townsend argued that only those who spent the time sighting in and taking pride in their firearm, and we'll go ahead and assume he meant bows as well, produced rewarding outcomes as their skill set and marksmanship increased. Shooters who neglected their firearms, on the other hand, found the road to proficiency to be long and arduous, eventually losing interest in their hobby and soon disposing of it altogether. As hunting season approaches, let Whalen's remarks serve as a reminder that taking pride in your firearm or bow is merely the prologue to yet another edition of the hunting season. An obvious yet important reminder, your hunt will not end successfully if you can't deliver a bullet or arrow on target when it matters most. Here's what Idaho Fish and Game's Hunter Education Manager Brenda Beckley has to say on the matter.
Taking the time to prepare and become a better shooter is not just your responsibility, but it makes you an ethical hunter. Practice, 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 and you will improve your chances of successfully harvesting an animal.
Now that we've established the when to get started improving your aim, here's the how. Fish and Game offers several options for shooting and/or archery ranges around the state. In the Southwest, Nampa's public facility offers both an indoor and outdoor archery range, as well as an indoor air gun range. There's also the Selway River WMA archery range, complete with 20 three-dimensional foam targets. Up in the Panhandle, there is Farragut Public Shooting Range, which also includes a 1-mile walk-through archery range. Several Idaho state parks, in cooperation with Fish and Game, have archery ranges with life-sized three-dimensional targets that mimic big game animals. For a more comprehensive list of shooting ranges in Idaho, go check out the National Shooting Sports Foundation's Where to Shoot webpage. For rifle hunters, many shooting experts recommend setting your initial target at 25 yards to make sure you hit the paper if you have a new rifle, have replaced a scope, or don't know where your rifle is hitting. After shooting at that distance, move your target out to 100 yards or more to finish the sighting in process. Consistent accuracy is the ultimate goal when practicing shooting skills, so it's important that hunters consider their effective shooting range and practice at all distances out to that maximum number. It's also important to practice from a variety of shooting positions and not just from a bench. Think about it. When that 4-point buck or 6-point bull pauses along the hillside, you're not going to have the luxury of a bench rest and 5 minutes of slow breathing when you go take that shot. Shooters should try to replicate the conditions they are likely to encounter in the field as closely as possible. So after your rifle is sighted in, consider doing some exercise to get your heart rate elevated and your lungs working harder to mimic what shooting may feel like in the field. And here's a hot tip. Hunters should always use the same ammunition for hunting as they did when sighting in their rifle. After that, we got shotguns. Now, don't let the Elmer Fudd cartoons fool you. There's a lot more to using a shotgun than just spraying a target with pellets. When it comes to preparation for wing shooting, hunters should focus on practicing different shots at different angles that may at first seem difficult. Be sure to use the choke and shell combination you plan to use for the hunting season. Modified chokes produce a moderately tight pattern, good for rabbits, quail, and upland game birds. Full chokes have an even tighter pattern and are best suited for turkey, squirrels, and other game at longer range. And don't worry, archery hunters, we didn't forget about you. By this point in the game, most archery hunters using traditional and compound bows will already be dialed in as early season and archery-only hunts kick off in late August. But if you're new to the sport of bow hunting, You should start by visiting your local bow shop and get your bow tuned up, especially if you haven't shot much or at all since last fall. Here's another hot tip. Estimating distance is a lot more crucial in archery than in rifle hunting. To become proficient at gauging distances in the field, sharpen your eye by making estimates on various landmarks or 3D targets. Once you make an assessment, whip out your trusty rangefinder and confirm just how close or far off your naked eye was. Fish and Game has ranges at its Boise River Wildlife Management Area and Farragut Shooting Range. You can also find archery ranges at some Idaho state parks, including Hell's Gate near Lewiston, Castle Rock near Albion, and Dworshak near Orofino. So whether you're hauling a rifle or a recurve out into the field with you this hunting season, proper maintenance and preparation is a must. Be sure to brush up on your marksmanship and take care of your weapon to ensure a fun, safe, and interesting hunt. All right, this next story highlights a chance for you folks to get involved in the next Fisheries Management Plan. Fish and Game is seeking public comment on its newly revised draft Idaho Fisheries Management Plan for 2025 through 2030. The statewide plan outlines Fish and Game's management direction and is the guiding policy document for fisheries activities over the next 6 years. The deadline to comment is August 26th, so you got a little less than a month. The plan sets the overall framework for managing fishing waters throughout the state. It does not include seasons and bag limits, but it does outline different management strategies, such as the primary species, the fisheries type, including general harvest, trophy fish management, etc., and other factors. The document is massive, so it's best if you folks focus your attention on topics, water bodies, or fish species that relate to you. The full document and its table of contents are available right now on our website. If you're interested in leaving a comment, head on over to our website or hit the link in the description. And a reminder, merely commenting in the comment section of this podcast or on your favorite social media platform doesn't count. If you want your voice to be heard, you gotta do it through the website. It's super quick and easy and is even painless, I promise. Last major story of the week. One of our fisheries biologists rescued a 10-year-old from the Selway River last month. Here's what happened. On the afternoon of July 13th, an Idaho Fish and Game biologist was the right person in the right place at the right time in saving a 10-year-old boy struggling in the Selway River. The Clearwater region's fisheries habitat biologist Robert Hand was wrapping up a work-related float trip on the Selway River when he heard a commotion along the riverbank downstream. Hand called down and asked if they needed any assistance. A family was yelling for anyone who may have a rope to throw to their 10-year-old boy who was fighting the current and being swept downstream. Hand knew he didn't have much time, certainly not enough to get a truck or grab a throw rope or flotation device, so he pivoted and ran downstream to catch up with the boy. After quickly assessing the situation and no other option, he dove into the river and swam out into the rushing current that threatened to carry the tiring young swimmer into downstream rapids. The 10-year-old struggled to keep his head above the water when Hand finally reached him, but Hand was able to carefully swim the exhausted boy to shore. Hand reassured the boy that he was safe and stayed with them until the family was able to reach them. Hand, a 22-year veteran with Fish and Game's fishery staff, has seen a lot of Idaho's treacherous rivers during his time with the agency. However, he, along with many other Fish and Game employees, undergo swift water training not only to keep themselves safe, but to keep others safe as well. For more on this story, hit the link in the description below. With that, it's time for the Rapid Fire Bulletin. Last call for Super Hunt applications. The deadline for the second Super Hunt drawing is August 10th, which is coming up. The second drawing will include tags for 2 elk, 2 deer, 2 pronghorn, and 1 moose hunt. A Super Hunt combo that includes 1 tag for each of those species will also be drawn. All winners will be notified in mid-August. Now, hunters may enter the drawing at licensed vendors, Fish and Game offices, online, or by calling 1-800-554-8685. Remember, you can buy as many entries as you want for Super Hunts or the Super Hunt combo. The application period for Idaho's second big game controlled hunt drawing runs August 5th through the 15th. Hustle on over to the Controlled Hunt Information webpage to see all the available big game tags for this second application period. Draw results will be posted by August 26th, and any tags left over after that will be sold first come, first served on that date at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Back in late July, Fish and Game began placing collars on elk on Idaho National Laboratory's lands within Unit 63. A total of 15 elk were successfully captured and fitted with GPS collars that will track their movements and give biologists a window into where they spend their time and how they utilize the landscape. These elk are part of a unit-wide elk collaring project that was initiated over a year ago, with the first captures being focused on elk using lands off the INL, and these latest captures filling in the data gaps. Projects like these allow wildlife managers to make more informed population management decisions. The goal in this area is to provide continued opportunities for elk hunters while also strategically addressing significant agricultural depredations. This is a really cool story, a lot of work going on here, folks, so check out James Brower's press release to learn more. Calling all Idaho artists. Fish and Game is seeking art submissions for the 2025 Durable Hard Card licenses. Each year, Fish and Game issues hard card licenses that fit in your wallet and include collectible art of Idaho's iconic species. Submissions will be taken for bighorn sheep, mountain goat, red band trout, and sockeye salmon. Each winner will receive $1,000 for their use of the artwork. If you're looking to throw your artist hat in the ring, check out the list of requirements on our website. Link in the description. And last but not least, Idaho Fish and Game's Magic Valley region will be hosting a program all about bats on August 15th at 7:30 p.m. at the Noah Oliver Pavilion. The informative and exciting nighttime program will be led by a Magic Valley regional wildlife biologist who has extensive experience with bats in Idaho. The program is designed for all ages and is free and open to the public. Please bring your own lawn chair and don't forget the bug spray. For more information, call the Magic Valley Regional Office at 208-324-4359. All right, that's it for this week's stories. It's time for our question of the week. Here's a frequently asked question that seems pretty relevant considering the amount of fire activity ongoing throughout the state. Are fire closures, as mentioned in your press release about hunting during fire seasons, the same as fire restrictions put out by the Forest Service? No, it's a bit of semantics. Fire closures are in regards to an area that needs to be shut down entirely, including access to due to fires. A restriction, on the other hand, is something we don't usually regulate and is determined and issued by other agencies like the Forest Service or Idaho Department of Lands. When public land is under a fire restriction, you can expect to see rules prohibiting certain types of campfires, wood-fired cooking stoves, and smoking except within an enclosed vehicle, building, or designated rec site. Fire restrictions come and go as the fire season progresses, so be sure to stay up to date on fire news as it relates to the areas you plan on recreating in. And that's all the news we got for this week. Thanks for putting an ear to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin. If there's something on your mind, or if you got a question related to Fish and Game matters, feel free to drop us a line at podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Again, that's podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll catch you next week.